Top story, the hostage crisis in the Peshawar Army Public School in Pakistan could be over soon, with reports filtering in that 6 terrorists are now confirmed dead. At least 130 have been killed in the Taliban attack on the Peshawar school, with most of them, as many as 110 of being children. A similar number of children are injured, many of them with bullet wounds, and according to doctors, most shot in head and chest. Many of the dead were celebrating an event in the school. Also dead is a teacher reportedly set on fire by militants. More blasts have been reported from the school site in the past hour, with ambulances seen rushing into the compound. According to a Pakistan Army public relations statement, of the 4 blocks the militants were confined to, security forces have managed to clear 3, indicating that operations could now be reaching a climax. Students have taken the biggest hit, with more than 110 dead. Emergency has been declared in all city hospitals, many of which are running short of critical supplies and blood. The attack began at 11:30 local time, that is 12 noon India time, when heavy firing was reported in the army school in the predominantly cantonment town. According to reports, militants entered the school through an adjacent graveyard. Estimates put the number of attackers at more than 6. 6 are already dead. They've been killed, but security forces fear that there are more terrorists involved. All of them were fluent in Arabic. Now, with 6 terrorists eliminated, a couple of them suicide bombers who reportedly inflicted maximum casualties. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif has reached Peshawar and will soon be followed by the Army Chief General Rahil Sharif. 3 days mourning has now been announced in the Khyber province.
उन सब ख़ानदानों के साथ हैं। हमारी दुआएं उन ख़ानदानों के साथ हैं जिनके बच्चे इस हादसे में शहीद हुए। अल्लाह ताला उन सब ख़ानदानों पे अपना रहम फरमाए, उनको खैर व बरकत से हमकिनार फरमाए। बच्चे जो शहीद हुए, अल्लाह ताला उनको भी अपने जवार रहमत में जगह अता फरमाए। और मैं समझता हूँ कि जब तक कि दहशतगर्दी से इस मुल्क को मुकम्मल तौर पर पाक नहीं कर दिया जाता, ये जो है ये जदोजहद और जंग ये जारी रहेगा। तो इसमें किसी को कोई शक नहीं होना चाहिए।
हमारे लिए बड़ा मुश्किल है इस वक्त के सोचे कि वो उन लोगों पे क्या गुजर रही होगी जिनके घर में ये खबर पहुंची होगी, बच्चे स्कूल में गए हुए होंगे। तो हम उनके लिए दुआ करते हैं। हम सारा पाकिस्तान उनके साथ खड़ा है, उनके दुख में उनके साथ शामिल है। जो जिसने ये किया है, जितनी सख्त हम मजम्मत कर सकें ये जो किया है, इसका कोई जस्टिफिकेशन नहीं हो सकती इस तरह की चीज़ की। ये इंतहा है कि एक स्कूल में इस तरह बच्चों को मारा गया। इसकी हम बयान नहीं कर सकते कि कितना कोई नीचा गिर सकता है ऐसा करके।
The Tehreek-e-Taliban has claimed responsibility for the strike. In a statement, the terror organization said it was revenge for the pain inflicted by army attacks on its family, adding that it wanted the army and its families to feel the same pain. TTP commander Mohammad Khursani said the attack is against the ongoing operation against them in the tribal area. The TTP revenge strike is against Pakistan Army's Operation Zarb-e-Azab against terrorists in Waziristan. At least 120 terrorists have been killed in the strike since June. The TTP spokesperson added that gunmen had been ordered to kill older children and not young children.
Close to 1,500 school children are being held hostage by militants of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan in an army public school in Peshawar. We're going to use this Google map to show you the exact location of this school. The school is located on Warsak Road in Peshawar. This is a high security zone. It's right next to the cantonment area. This is the school. This is a senior wing of the Army Public School where this hostage crisis is unfolding. This is a junior wing. This, in fact, is the auditorium where an explosion was reported a short while back. This is a high security zone, barely 10 minutes drive from the airport. We're also being told that there are important installations next to the school, like this lady reading hospital where the injured are being treated. As far as casualties are concerned, details still extremely sketchy. What we do know for sure is that 6 militants of the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan have raided this school. They've in fact taken responsibility for the attack. We also know that they're holding close to 1,500 school children hostage. This is a rapidly developing situation, and we'll keep getting you regular updates.
Well, the latest update that we're getting in at this point of time is all 6 terrorists are reportedly killed, but there is a present fear that there could be more terrorists involved. Some would have fled and some even still right now in the school premises. The operation reaching its final chapter is what is being reported, and for more I'd like to immediately cut across to my colleague Hamza Amir, who's been reporting live on the developments taking place. Hamza, can you get us up to speed? The last we heard that the 6th terrorist was also killed, but there are fears now that there are more terrorists involved.
Yes, in fact, initially it was reported that there were between 6 to 7 terrorists that entered the school, but now even after being 6 of them being killed, the operation still continues to go on and the casualties continue to rise. That means that there are more terrorists inside. Some of the local sources are saying there might be between 10 to 12 terrorists, while some of them have also been able to flee that premises and run away. Right now, as we speak, the casualties have risen up to 132, while at least 245 people are injured. These are the numbers that are actually have been coming from the hospital authority. So we only have details of who are in the hospital. The people who are inside, how many of them are alive or how many of them are. It's not confirmed right now. Also, one thing that is also has come out just now, that the Taliban commander who claimed the responsibility of the attack, Mohammad Khurasani, belongs to the militant group of Jamaatul Ahrar. Now, this is the same group that actually carried out the massive attack and the deadly attack on Wagah border also. And this is the group that actually sided ways from the TTP militancy because of the ideological differences, and also announced their allegiance to the Islamic State. So this is something that is very important, that now this is the second major attack that this group has carried out. And also these basically are people hailing from the Khyber agency and the surrounding districts of that area, and that's where the militant operations are actually going on. So I think the basic origination of this attack has come from the Khyber agency, where the Pakistan army has been fighting the militants in its operation.
Hamza, before I ask you other questions, very quickly, there were indications which suggested that this entire operation is reaching the final chapter right now. What are you picking up from the security forces?
Well, about 2 or 3 years back, the army said that 80% of the operation is complete, and they're actually now in the rescue phase. But even right now, as the operation continues, I think we haven't actually, reached to the conclusion. The army still is maintaining that they have killed terrorists and they are continuing to move forward and rescuing people, but it is still uncertain that if there are terrorists still inside, they're heavily armed. We've heard 19 explosions, at least 19 explosions in the school premises. So I think it's a big number of more militants and terrorists inside that area as well. And until then, they are not even killed. The operation is far from over.
Hamza, you just pointed out the number now stands at 132 killed. Tragically, most of them are children. And from what you're reporting, it does seem that even 132 is far from what the actual estimate is going to be, because these are just bodies and these are just people who had been rushed to the hospitals.
Exactly. That's what I said initially as well, that we're talking about at least 1,500 students. And also, when the statement of the TTP came out, they made it very clear that they will be targeting children who are a little elder in age, not the younger ones. And that is exactly what they've done. They've been going into classes and targeting those students who are actually belonging to somewhere between 15 and 16 years old. And even having said that, going forward, I think the operation might actually go on, but still the casualties will be a lot higher, because the kind of explosions, the kind of gunfire that is being heard from inside the school premises, I can say this with certainty that we might see the death toll reaching somewhere between 200 and maybe even going above that, because the number of injured is 245 right now. It's 132 confirmed dead. As soon as the operation concludes, then the exact number will come out, how many people and how many basically children and students who are very young have been killed in this massive attack.
There were indications earlier, Hamza, that the hospitals were running out of facilities, especially blood. Hamza, are you still with me?
Yes, I am.
Hamza, what is the status? Because earlier on, there were reports which were filtering in that hospitals in Peshawar had run out of blood and basic facilities to treat the children.
Yes, in fact, there have been messages circulated everywhere through the internet, through messages, people have been now calling on people to come to the Lady Reading Hospital and donate blood because there is massive shortage of blood over there. And the hospital, both the Combined Military Hospital and the Lady Reading Hospital, the main two hospitals in Peshawar, have been on high alert. All the doctors are there.
Yes.
The Prime Minister, Nawaz Sharif, along with the Interior Minister, is in Peshawar right now. The Army Chief is also coming to Peshawar. And the whole of the situation currently stays on red alert because the airport is 10 minutes away from the place where the incident is going on right now, while the Khyber Agency region and the surrounding areas around the school is also, it's been reported that there have been gunfire shot from there as well. So the massive area has been cordoned off, search operation is underway, and hospitals have been kept for high alert for an indefinite time.
Heartrending scenes there, tragic scenes being witnessed with parents filtering into the hospitals where the children were taken. Hamza, before I let you go, one very quick question. We've seen a lot of political statements coming in from the Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif as well as from the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf Chief Imran Khan. Interestingly, it is his party's hold over the area, and with what we've seen, the kind of statements we've seen over the last 6-7 months, a relatively softer approach to this terror outfit.
Well, yes, in fact, the basic responsibility of this incident goes on the shoulders of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf led provincial government. And Imran Khan, unfortunately enough, while he's been really busy in carrying out a very massive rallies and staging sit-ins across Punjab, demanding ousting of Nawaz Sharif, he's actually not been able to give time to the job at hand of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. There's been evidence in this regard as well that this kind of an intimation was given and by the security forces that such kind of an attack might be carried out, but not enough was done to secure the lives of the locals. And that is where the major question comes in, that is Imran Khan going to come back to KPK and do the job at hand better rather than we focus on staging sit-ins in the Khyber in Punjab province, because yesterday Imran Khan was in Lahore and the whole of Lahore was shut down. He was there for 7-8 hours, while it's taken them a long time. Even right now, he's not in Peshawar. That means that non-seriousness is there. The provincial government will certainly try to push this issue back on the federal government, but it remains the fact that the whole responsibility stands on the shoulder of Imran Khan and his ruling party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, who is basically running the show in the KPK province.
Appreciate you joining us, Hamza. We'll of course keep coming back to you for the very latest. Hamza Amir, my colleague, reporting as developments pan out in Peshawar. The latest that we're getting in is that the count is 132 where the casualties are concerned, and tragically most of them are children. The operation reaching its final chapter. We'll keep getting you the very latest, but let's quickly dip into all the other political reactions that we're getting in.
बस करो ना यार, क्या नवाज शरीफ के साथ 100 मेरे 2 भतीजे हैं, एक शहीद हो गया यार, ये मेरे सारे बच्चे हैं ना यार ये अब्दुल्ला शाह नाम है यार मुझे ये बताइए, एक माँ बाप 20-20 साल अपनी मेहनत कर रहे हैं यार, और आने वाले ने 20 मिनट भी नहीं लगाए यार। नवाज शरीफ के साथ, सदर के साथ 100 गाड़ियां फिर रही हैं यार, बस है ना यार, खुदा को मानो यार पाकर भी आ जाओ यार, तुम ले लो यार, ये नहीं कर सकते यार, बस है ना यार, खुदा का वास्ता है, रसूल का वास्ता है यार।
हमारे हाल के तकरीबन 12 गेट्स है, और 12 गेट्स में से एक पीछे वाला गेट उन्होंने तोड़ा है और तोड़ के दाखिल हुए हैं, वो सब के सब। फिर उसके बाद तकरीबन मैंने 3 अंकल को मैंने देखा है, बाकी और किसी को मैंने नहीं देखा, सब नीचे लेट गया। आधा घंटा फायरिंग होती रही, हाल के अंदर बच्चों को मारते रहे। उसके बाद फिर वो हाल से चले गए, तो हम लोगों ने देखा कोई नहीं है, हम लोग फिर उसके क्लासों में चले गए, क्लासों में जाके लेटे रहे। वहाँ से फिर हमें कोई नहीं पता किस वक्त फोर्सेस आई हैं या फिर क्या हुआ है, और वो लोग चले गए।
हम सारे स्कूल में बैठे थे क्लासेस में अपनी, तो आर्मी का डॉक्टर आए थे, वो फर्स्ट एड के बारे में कुछ बता रहे थे हमें। तो उन्होंने हम 8th, 9th और 10th क्लास को हॉल में बुला लिया। तो हॉल हमारे स्कूल के यानी पीछे जो है ना, बस वो सिर्फ एक जाली है और एक दीवार है, और बाकी पीछे सारा कच्चा इलाका है। तो वहाँ से आए हैं और फिर पहले ऊपर छत पर फायरिंग की है, फिर हमने दरवाजे टीचर्स ने सारे बंद कर दिए थे। तो जब दरवाजे बंद कर लिए तो उन्होंने दरवाजे भी तोड़ कर आ गए। अब तो अंदर जब आ गए उन्होंने बस फायरिंग शुरू कर ली, सारे बच्चे डर गए। तो फायरिंग जब शुरू कर ली, बस फिर थोड़ी देर बाद यानी फिर चले गए थे ना। कि और वो जो उनका पुलिस यानी आर्मी वाला जो था उनको भी एक बुलेट लगी है। हम बच्चे सारे यानी बैठ गए थे नीचे, तो उन्होंने यानी पहले हवा पर किया है फायरिंग, फिर बच्चों को एक एक बच्चे को मार रहे थे अंदर। तो फिर बहुत देर हम बैठे रहे, बहुत गोलियां चलती रही, पता नहीं क्या क्या था, डस लगे हुए थे। तो
अच्छा बेटा, जब ये लोग आए आपने किसी को तो जरूर देखा भी होगा, भागते हुए देखा होगा, वो किस रूप में थे, कैसे लोग थे?
सिंपल शलवार कमीज पहनी थी, इतनी बड़ी बड़ी दाढ़ियां थी उनकी माशाल्लाह से, और वो बस लगे हुए थे फायरिंग, और अरबी जुबान में लगे हुए थे।
जैसे फायरिंग हुई तो हमें टीचर्स ने कहा कि ये तो ड्रिल स्टार्ट है, ना डरे। तो हमें पता लगा कि ड्रिल है, तो बस अचानक से बहुत ज़्यादा फायरिंग हुई। उधर से आर्मी वाले जा रहे थे, उन्होंने बताया कि उधर अटैक स्टार्ट हो गया, 7-8 लोगों ने हमला कर दिया हम पे। फिर एक आर्मी वाला ऑफिसर आए, हमें कहे टीचर्स और प्रिंसिपल्स को कहे कि आप जाए इन बच्चों को पीछे वाले गेट से निकाल दे।
I want to cut across directly at this point of time to retired Air Vice Marshal Mr. Shehzad, the Air Vice Marshal, Mr. Chaudhary there. We want to connect to him at this point of time. So the question I want to ask you at this juncture, first up, we offer our condolences to all those who've lost their children and those who are injured. But what kind of an impact will this leave on the forces which, as we speak, are fighting the terrorists in Pakistan?
Well, this is an ongoing war. It doesn't have one phase or another, and I don't think it's going to finish that quickly. The threat of terror, unfortunately, is all pervasive all around, not only in Pakistan, but in the entire world. And at various places in the world, we are all fighting terror in our different ways. I think we need to continue at it. We continue fighting this terror, and that is what is the challenge, and that is what the Pakistani state is into. Unfortunately, the sacrifice at times is of such nature which actually touches your heart, as was today the case. But I think that's the kind of sacrifice that the Pakistani nation is making for the moment.
Vice Marshal Chaudhary, they've hit where it hurts, because this is what actually breaks a soldier down, when they hit at the families.
Yeah, it's not the families of the soldiers that have been hit. I think there's some sort of a misunderstanding in India. I've spoken to a couple of other channels as well. When you say there's an army public school, it doesn't mean it's an army school. It's a civil school. It's a civil school like any other. It just has a name, Army Public School. So it's basically children of from all facets of the society and of people who not necessarily belong to the army. So they've hit at the society of Pakistan, at the people of Pakistan, not at the forces of Pakistan.
One final question, sir, before I let you go. We've heard a lot of political opinion which has come out fast. We've heard the Prime Minister who's come out and said that the fight against terrorism will continue. On the other hand, we've also heard Mr. Imran Khan from the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf considering that it was his party that has a strong hold over the area, and in the statements we've seen over the last 1 year, relatively softer on this terror outfit.
Well, I mean, the point is that as long as we do not, as a nation, we sort of do not get our act together in terms of integration, coordinating defenses in the provinces or the states working together with the center allocating enough resources, as well as the provinces creating enough resource to ensure that the battle against terror continues to retain its most primary focus. Unfortunately, we'll continue to make mistakes, and that is a consequence of making such mistakes that you end up into. And despite, even if you were to do all that, still you will end up into a situation, but at least you'll not be amiss in the way that your priorities have been lying for some time. Unfortunately, the Pakistani political system will need to shake itself out of the slumber of power games and get to real work on the ground in terms of fighting terror. That is a missing area in Pakistan. It's not the military, it's not the intelligence agencies, it is the political direction which is actually missing out in Pakistan.
Appreciate you joining us, Vice Marshal Shehzad Chaudhary, retired Vice Marshal Shehzad Chaudhary. Thank you there for joining us. Our thoughts with the victims of those affected by the star-studded attack.